My name is Elena. I am 69 years old, and today I am going to tell you something you might not want to hear. I didn't destroy my life with one bad decision. I destroyed it with 1,000 small decisions that seemed harmless. For years I thought I was doing it right, that I was strong, that I was responsible, that sacrificing myself was the right thing to do. But today, looking back, I realized something terrible. I didn't sacrifice myself for love. I lost myself out of fear. Fear of disappointing. Fear of being selfish. Fear of not being enough. And that fear, disguised as virtue, stole decades from me. I was born into a large family. I was the second of 5 siblings. From a very young age, I learned that one had to help, that one had to give in, that one had to endure. My mother was a tough woman, the kind that never complained, who worked from dawn until night without stopping, who never asked for anything for herself. I grew up thinking that this was normal, that women were made to support, to endure, to give without expecting anything in return. I got married at 22. I had 3 children. I worked for 30 years as a nurse in a public hospital, double shifts, night shifts, weekends. I would come home exhausted and keep working, cooking, cleaning, helping with homework. My days had no breaks, just obligations piling up one after another. From the outside, my life looked complete. A united family, a stable job, a home of my own. But inside, I was disappearing, always available, always present, always silent. No one asked me, "Elena, how are you?" And I didn't ask myself either. The breaking point came at 51 years old. I was in the kitchen, preparing lunch on a Sunday. The whole family was in the living room, talking, laughing. Suddenly I heard my oldest daughter telling her brother, "Mom never does anything for herself. She only lives for us." And my son replied, "Yeah, it's weird. I don't know if I've ever really seen her happy." Those words pierced me. I stood there with the knife in my hand, feeling something inside me break. Because they were right. I wasn't doing anything for myself. And no, I wasn't happy. But I had learned to function without happiness, as if it were a luxury I didn't deserve. That night, I couldn't sleep. I started thinking about my life, about everything I had done, about everything I hadn't done. When was the last time I did something just because I wanted to? When was the last time I said, "Not today," without having to justify myself? I didn't remember it, because those moments didn't exist, and I realized something terrifying. I had made mistakes, many, for years. They weren't outrageous mistakes, but I had silently destroyed my life, with small decisions, repeated, invisible. And today I want to share those mistakes with you, because if you are making even one of them, you still have time to change. Mistake number 1, postponing your life believing that you will live it later. When I was 30 years old, I was given a painting book. I had always wanted to learn, but I left it there, on a shelf, because I don't have time now. When the kids grow up, I will do it. Years went by, the kids grew up. But then other excuses came. When I have more money. When I finish paying for the house. When I retire. That book is still on the shelf, untouched, with pages yellowed by time. Because that later never comes. There is always something more urgent. There is always someone who needs you. And one day you realize that you spent 50 years waiting for the perfect moment. And the perfect moment never existed. Error number 2. Taking care of everyone but yourself. I worked 12 hours a day. If my children had a cold, I took them to the doctor immediately. If my husband complained of pain, I would get him an appointment with the orthopedic doctor. If my parents needed something, I would drop everything and run. But I never went to the doctor. I never rested. I never said, "Today I need a day for myself." I had constant headaches. I ignored them. I felt tired all the time. Until at 47, I fainted at work. I had severe anemia, low blood pressure, chronic stress. And that's when I understood something. If you break, everything you built also breaks. You are not a superhero. You are a person. And people get tired, they get sick, they break. And taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's survival. Mistake number 3. Staying silent out of fear of conflict. My husband was a good person. He wasn't violent. He wasn't unfaithful. He wasn't irresponsible. But he never helped me around the house. He never asked how my day had been. He never noticed when I was exhausted. And you know what I did? Nothing. I stayed quiet. Because I didn't want to fight. Because I thought that was keeping the peace. But that peace was false. Because inside I was accumulating resentment, sadness, anger. Until one day it exploded. He left his clothes lying on the floor, as always. And I exploded. I shouted at him. I said horrible things, things I had kept for years. When we finally talked days later, he said to me, "If you had told me before that it bothered you, I would have changed, but you never said anything." And he was right. I expected him to guess. But no one guesses, and silence does not keep the peace. It only accumulates bombs that sooner or later explode. Mistake number 4, comparing yourself to other women. I always looked at my friends, at the neighbors, at the co-workers. So-and-so had a more attentive husband. Such and such had more successful children. That one had more money, more trips. And I felt less valuable, less interesting, less fortunate. But I never stopped to think that each one also had their battles, their sorrows, their emptinesses. Comparison did not make me better. It only made me unhappy. Because you will always find someone who has something you don't have. And if you measure your life by what others have, you will never be happy. Error number 5. Not asking for help out of pride. I carried everything. Parenting, work, home, extended family. My sister offered me help. My husband told me to hire someone to clean. My children told me to rest. And I always responded, "Don't worry, I can handle it." Because asking for help was admitting weakness. It was failing the image everyone had of me. Elena, the one who can do it all. But the truth is that no one can do it all. And when I finally collapsed, I realized something. Pride doesn't make you strong. It makes you alone. Error number 6. Believing that love is measured in sacrifice. I thought that loving meant giving everything, expecting nothing in return. So I gave, and gave, and gave. I gave my time, my energy, my dreams, my health, until there was nothing left of me. And when I finally started to say no, some got angry. They had gotten used to my endless giving. And there I understood something important. Love is not measured by how much you empty yourself for others. It is measured by how much you can give without losing yourself. Because if you lose yourself, you can no longer love. You can only pretend. Error number 7. Arguing over things that don't matter. I spent years fighting with my children over nonsense, over the mess, over the clothes on the floor, over schedules. I thought I was educating, but all I was doing was creating distance. Today, when I see them as adults, I realize something painful. They don't remember the lessons I tried to teach them. They remember the shouting. They remember the tension. My daughter recently told me, "Mom, I love you, but as a girl I was afraid of you. You were always angry." Those words shattered me. If I could go back, I would choose my battles, and I would save my energy for what really matters, being present, listening, hugging. Error number 8. Surrounding yourself with people who are only there when they need you. I had friends who only sought me out when they had problems. I would drop everything and run. I listened to them for hours. But when I needed something, there was no one. When I got sick, only 2 people visited me. Out of all those I had helped over the years, the others disappeared, because to them, I was not a friend. I was a resource. It took me years to understand that a friendship is not real if it only goes in one direction. Mistake number 9. Living with unresolved resentments. My sister and I stopped talking over a silly fight, something related to an inheritance, a misunderstanding. 5 years passed, 5 years during which pride kept us apart, until her husband called me. He told me she was in the hospital. I ran over. I saw her in that bed, connected to machines, and I realized we had lost 5 years over a trivial matter. When we finally talked, we cried for hours. Neither of us remembered exactly why we had fought, but we did remember the pain, the distance, the lost time. Error number 10, postponing gratitude. I always said, when everything is resolved, I will be happy. When the children finish university, I will rest. When I pay off the house, I will enjoy. But life doesn't work that way, because there will always be something to resolve. There will always be a worry. And if you wait for everything to be perfect to be grateful, you will never be grateful for anything. One day my husband had cooked, just pasta with canned sauce, and instead of being grateful, I criticized. You put too much salt. Why did I do that? Because I was so used to looking for what was missing that I no longer saw what was there. Life doesn't get destroyed all at once. It wears down silently, with unspoken words, with postponed dreams, with stored resentments, with constant comparisons. I lost years because of these mistakes. Not because I was a bad person, but because no one taught me that taking care of myself was not selfish. That asking for help was not weakness. That saying no did not make me less of a woman. I'm not going to lie to you. There are things I can no longer recover. Time with my children that is gone. Conversations I never had. Dreams I let die. And that hurts. It hurts a lot. But what I can do is change what remains. And believe me, there is still a lot left. Today I am 69 years old, and only now am I learning to truly live. I resumed painting. I stopped going to family gatherings that I don't want to attend. I learned to say no without justifying myself. I speak up when something bothers me. And for the first time in decades, I feel at peace. Not because my life is perfect, but because I stopped waiting for it to be. Life is not destroyed by a tragedy. It is destroyed by 1,000 small decisions. You are not selfish for taking care of yourself. You are intelligent. The love that empties you is not love. It is self-destruction. False peace is more destructive than honest conflict. Resentment kept inside is slow poison. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Life goes on. No one is going to give you permission to live. You have to give it to yourself. If you are listening to this and recognized yourself in any of those mistakes, don't judge yourself. I made them all, and I survived. But I want you to understand something. You don't have to wait until you're 69 to change. You can do it today, with a small decision. Saying no to something you don't want. Asking for help when you need it. Speaking up when something hurts you. Life doesn't get fixed all at once. It gets fixed with small, conscious, constant adjustments. Because reaching the end of your life and being able to say, I did it my way, is the only success that truly matters. Don't let silence destroy you. Don't let fear paralyze you. Don't let misunderstood sacrifice empty you. You still have time. You can still save yourself. And when you do, you will understand something that took me decades to learn. It's not about being perfect. It's about being alive. Truly alive. With mistakes, with fears, with imperfections. But alive, present, real. That is the only life worth living. And that life starts today.